Okay, guys, now we're going to talk about what kind of real estate is best for investments. Darryl, what...
you want an answer for that? Is one word.
One word.
The ugliest you can find. I mean, you see these signs that say, "We buy ugly homes." I mean, those are really great investments. Nobody else wants them. And why doesn't no one else wants them? Because they want to buy something that they can envision fixing up. But if you're going to buy a house for an investment, and you're going to replace the appliances, replace the carpet, repaint, does it really matter whether it even has appliances, or if they're what's that ugly green color? Avocado green or harvest gold? Does any of that matter?
The shag carpet from the 70s?
No,
the colors
rip it out. So buy things that are at their lowest value.
Foreclosures, HUD takeovers.
But it doesn't even have to be that. Sometimes it's people that just can't afford,
well,
don't want to.
You can pay too much for a foreclosure, right?
Oh,
or a
totally.
HUD home.
You know, there was a time when HUD had its own newspaper, and this was back in the early 90s, and they were just trying to dispose of all these. Well, there's this hype and hysteria that went along with a HUD, and first-time home buyers got burned a lot because they had special financing that would go along with a HUD home. So you go out, and I would watch people pay $5,000, $10,000 more than what they could buy the exact same home in better condition that had not gone through the foreclosure process. What does foreclosure tell you? They couldn't afford to take care of it, so it wasn't maintained for a period of time. So when you're buying it, there's a little more risk, usually, with a foreclosed home. Well, they were paying more for these homes than one just down the street that was in better condition.
So if it's ugly, then what's the foundation that you're looking for? What's the baseline? I mean, okay, it's an ugly home, but it has to have these characteristics to be a good investment.
That's where you have to understand the market. And investors, where they get burned is they go out and they do things that they, oh, I just need to buy an ugly house. Well, that's not the only thing. You need to make sure that once you complete the vision, once you replace things, once you give it its new face, it has to be able to get a new identity, because it's a sleeper. No one wants it. But if you're buying something that is a 2-bedroom in an area where the buyer demand is for a 3- or 4-bedroom, you're making a mistake. Don't do that with something that's not going to have a market once it's fixed up. So you have to know what your end result is, what's your goal.
Do you want an idea?
Yes. Jeff, give us
Back in the old days, when we rehabbed them, we would drive around in the summer, look for high grass and wooden fences falling down. We would call people like Darryl and say, Darryl, check and see who the owner of record is here. Darryl would find out it was either a bank or an estate or an individual, and it was a depressed property. We'd go in, Darryl would take us in, we'd do a punch list. How much will this cost to do our vision? And then we'd figure out a rehab loan, we'd purchase it, we'd sell it, we'd make a bundle. That's the things to look for, just dumb ideas.
On the financing side, with all the changes in the market, what are you looking at on the financing side with financing an investment property?
Become a friend with your banker is the key, because there are 203K loans, which is a rehab FHA program. That's owner-occupant. If you want to go in as an investor, you need to have this line of credit maybe on another property.
203K is a mortgage, and you're talking about a bank loan. And those are two different things.
That's a government. That's FHA loan. And so a regular bank loan, simply go in and take out a bank loan, because Freddie Mac limits you to 4 properties with mortgages, and you have to have 6 months of payments in the bank. Fannie Mae, 10. But if you buy it through a bank, maybe put a 5-year balloon, you may not want to hold the house. You want to maybe make your money back. So there's many options to check with your funder, your lender about. So just call the experts.
Great, great. We'll be back right after the break.